What's happening, everybody? Welcome to the channel. My name is Oe, and today I'm going to be doing a movie review of A Quiet Place Part 2, written and directed by John Krasinski. Now, if you want to enhance your A Quiet Place Part 2 experience, I suggest you watch the first movie right before this one, because A Quiet Place Part 2 literally takes moments right after the first film ends. So this review is going to have major spoilers from the first movie and minor spoilers in this review as well, as we follow the Abbott family, led by Emily Blunt, as they venture off into an uncharted world where sound-seeking alien invaders have taken over, and they meet lone survivor Emmett, played by Cillian Murphy, and he informs the Abbott family that there are more dangers to this world than just the aliens. Right off the back, I gotta say, everyone in the cast did a great job. I just want to get that right out there. Although I will say Emily Blunt's role, it was kind of reduced in this movie. I was expecting more for her character to do, but her performance was good, and she was great in it. But the main character in this movie was Millicent Simmons, and her character was great, and her acting was great as well. And just the dynamic of having her character be deaf in this post-apocalyptic world where we have alien monsters hunt humans based on sound, and she can't hear a goddamn thing. Just having that dynamic in the movie just makes for a lot of creative things they do. Like, we get her perspective at points, and the sound just becomes completely silent and audible, and you can't hear anything, and you'll see an alien monster creep in the background. It gets really exciting, so I like what they did with her character, and Millicent Simmons, her performance was outstanding. As was Noah Jupe in this movie, the teenagers and the kids in this movie really were the leads, and they did a great job. So I have no faults with the acting in this movie, especially with newcomer in this series, which was Cillian Murphy as Emmett. I really enjoyed his character. His character sort of had a contrast to John Krasinski's character from the first movie. There was a contrast between Emmett and Lee, as Lee was able to save his family and sacrifice himself in order for his family to move on. And Cillian Murphy's character, Emmett, he's sort of the opposite. He wasn't able to save his family. He's a lone survivor, and he's forced to live with that guilt. So I really enjoyed the contrast between Emmett's character and Lee from the first movie. And the opening of this movie was intense. It was epic. We get to see the perspective of the Abbott's family as this alien event unfolds. We get the monsters just come and terrorize their small town. We get to see how they were able to survive the initial attack. And I honestly wanted to see more of that. I wish we'd get a whole prequel movie based on that, or in A Quiet Place Part 3, we get more, events of the beginning sprinkled throughout the movie. I'm all about that. I love seeing the beginning of the chaos. We see a lot of the aliens in this movie compared to the first one. There's a lot of great lighting in this movie for the aliens, so we get a good detailed look at these creatures. And the monster design is fantastic. I love the design. They're like a mix of Demogorgons from Stranger Things and a Xenomorph from Aliens. They look great. My only gripe with the monsters is that I don't know what the hell to call them. Like, they don't have names. They're just called aliens. I feel like these monsters in the Quiet Place universe, they're interesting and cool enough to have like a goofy-ass nickname to call them. So we need a name for these monsters, but they were great. And so was the way they were portrayed in the movie, all the tense situations of them trying to kill our characters. I like the situations they were thrown into. And the way our characters have to interact with each other and fight these monsters because they can't make any noises or they're dead. Just that whole aspect of the film and this franchise makes for such creative and intense situations. And there's a point in the movie where we have two different storylines going, and then we have two different intense action moments going as well. I wasn't a fan of that at first, but the way they mended those scenes together and had each moment kind of mirror this event going on over here and the other event going over here, the way they kind of mirrored each other was done pretty damn well, and it didn't break the tension at all. So in the end, I was okay with the storylines kind of splitting in two. One thing about the story that they didn't really capitalize on was the whole human decay element. And what I mean by that is, earlier in the movie, Emmett, Cillian Murphy's character, explains to Emily Blunt and the Abbott family that humans aren't worth saving in this new world. Of course, humanity has broken down and just become total pieces of shit. And we get a scene with that. We get to meet a group of survivors. We meet two groups of survivors, one bad, one good. And honestly, we don't capitalize on getting to know those groups too well, because I don't think the story really took advantage of getting to know more of the people in this universe. It was more of a personal story for the Abbott family, which I'm okay with, but I would have really liked to see John Krasinski take advantage of exploring more of this universe. I mean, Djimon Hounsou and Scoot McNairy are in this movie as well, and they're barely in it. I mean, Damon Hansu, I went on IMDb, and his name is Man on Island. So if you're expecting much of Damon Hansu in this movie, you're going to be really disappointed. He's barely in it. So yeah, I just would have liked to see more of this world explored, but at the end of the day, I was okay with the story mainly being focused about the Abbott family and their struggle, because it's such a personal story with them. We've gotten to know these characters for 2 movies now, so I was okay with the plot line being more revolved around them and being more personal. So at the end of the day, I really enjoyed A Quiet Place Part 2. I enjoyed A Quiet Place Part 1. If you watch both back to back, you're in for a great time. It's like riding a great roller coaster where you cannot scream. That's how I would explain the experience of these A Quiet Place movies. So I would have to rate A Quiet Place Part 2 a 8.8. So I cannot wait to see what John Krasinski does with A Quiet Place Part 3. These movies are fantastic, and it seems like they're getting better, because I did enjoy A Quiet Place Part 2 more than the first one. So post down in the comments section what you thought of the movie. What would you rate it? If you liked the video, make sure you hit that like button. If you want to see me again, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. And I will see you all next time. See ya!